Hey there, green thumbs and plant lovers. Welcome to the garden. My name's Kevin Jordan, host of the Green Acres Garden Podcast and lover of gardening. I'm out in the garden today doing a bit of harvesting. This is our June harvest session. So today I want to show off a little bit of what we got growing out in our garden out here at the Leo Palmer School. This is a beautiful school garden. I think every school should have a garden. It's a great place to learn. For me, it's a great place to grow food that I can eat and share with my students. So this time of year is a bountiful time. We've got fruit trees packed full of fruit. So peaches, nectarines, plums, apricots, apriums, pluots, cherries, everything in between has been just ripening and blooming. You can see a bit of those right here. We've got some pluots that I'm telling you, when you eat these, they'll blow your mind. So it's been a great season for those. But we've also got a bounty of harvest out in the vegetable garden. I'm sure if you're growing at home, hopefully you're having a slice of success for yourself. I know we are here. Everything we do here in our garden, it basically starts from the soil up. We believe heavily in growing organically, so we use all organic fertilizers and pesticides. So we use all organic methods, and so for us, it's a great way to have a healthy harvest season after season after season. So here I'm going to show you some of the stuff that we're growing, and so we've got eggplant. We've got basically the Japanese long and these black beauties here. Both are awesome. Actually, I just recently brought these home and cooked them up. Eggplant parmigiana. And it was so good. Actually, I didn't realize how much I loved eggplant until I started eating them fresh. I'm now hooked on eggplant. Another nightshade or solanum that we have are our tomatoes, and we only have a few here that we're showing. I actually have 24 different varieties of tomato out here, although I just heard a garden friend who had 90 plus in their garden, so I'm feeling a little let down, but I think 24 varieties is pretty good for a little school garden here. But they're growing like crazy. Like I said, the organics, it really is super works. Here is a rainbow, an heirloom variety. So we grow heirlooms, we grow the hybrids and everything in between. We love tomatoes here. With them really building up that soil, it really shows off in the quality. I want to eat this right now, but I have to continue talking, so I won't. Like I said, well, we have more nightshades. So if you know your plants, you'll know that the solanums, the nightshades, are not just the tomatoes, they're not just the eggplant, but they're also the peppers. So these are some beauties that I want to show off to you today. These are the candy canes, the reds. They get striped up, and I've been eating them so quickly that I've yet to actually see one turn red, but they're delicious. They're kind of sweet, like a little bell pepper with a thin wall. Delicious. I eat them all the time. They go into everything. I love them. Just like I mentioned, we have the bell peppers, and if I could juggle them, I totally would, but I can't, so I won't. But the bell peppers, it's like growing a little tomato. Lots of full sun, really good soil, plenty of water, and a little bit of space, and they just go crazy. They're loving. What's funny is we've been talking about gardening in the heat and different things to do. Some plants you can do a little less with the bell peppers. They don't mind the heat. They really just don't want to have their sweet little peppers out in the full sun. So make sure you keep them shaded if they're going to get some hot direct sun in the full 4 or 5 o'clock time of the day. Here in our garden, we keep them planted a little bit tight, and that, for me, that's a bit of a secret to keep them where they're shading each other, protecting each other. The bell peppers are awesome, and what's great is they grow like wildfire. There's so many of them, I can't pick them fast enough. We've got the padron peppers, where to me it's like Russian roulette. You get 1 in 10 is spicy, so 9 are sweet, 1 is spicy. They're kind of a fun little one, really good for as a smoked pepper as well. And last but not least, of course we have jalapenos and serranos, but one I'm really eager to show you, and they're not even ripe just yet. These are the Trinidad scorpion peppers, and yeah, I'm looking at you, Austin. This one has your name on it, friend. Yeah, so me and Austin, we're gonna battle down. We're gonna go from sweet to hot one of these days, and we're gonna have to take a nibble on these, but look at the tail on that little scorpion pepper, and these will actually go from green to red, and when they're red, as I think is when we should eat them, Austin, because that's when they're fully ripe. But even if you couldn't wait, you can eat them right now. So this is a pretty wonderful harvest, and if this is something that interests you, if you love eating delicious fruits and vegetables that are fresh, take a look at the rest of this video, because we're going to talk about how we actually grew these, how we harvest them, and maybe some tips and tricks that allow you to have the same success in your garden. Something I want to show you really quick is check this out. So this happens a lot with your bell peppers, especially as those temperatures rise up. These ones, you can see they were on the exterior of the plant. They were exposed to that late afternoon sun. They got a little sunscald. Not a problem. The fruit is still good. Pop it off, cut off some of that wound. You're still good to go to eat it. So out here, we've got our habanero peppers. So I love them sweet, but I also got a spicy tooth as well. The habaneros are going great. You just gotta be patient, because they're gonna start off green, just like these other bell peppers, but they are a spicy pepper and they're smaller, so we wanna wait till they get nice golden orange, and that's when we're gonna pop them off and eat them and enjoy them. That's the habaneros. Basil, love this type of weather. Like I said, I'm an afternoon plant that needs some afternoon shade. Basil's the opposite. It loves the full sun. A trick for basil when you're out here in the summer is harvest it. Don't forget to harvest it. Now, if you forget, it'll blossom and go to seed, and then that's great for pollinators. But if you want to eat it and enjoy it, just get in there, grab it like a ponytail. So basil is really easy to harvest. The trick is really just get in there and be brutal on it. You're gonna wanna leave behind 2 to 3 inches of the actual plant stems to the soil, but guess what? They're gonna heal, it'll regrow. In a few weeks, you can come back and you get yourself some more basil, and it just keeps it coming and coming until the end of the season before you get no more. So until the fall comes, get your basil while the getting is good. But what's great out in the garden is there's more than one thing to grow. We're growing a lot of pumpkins out here. On the back side of our garden, we've got some massive monster pumpkins, the Atlantic giants, the Big Macs. But in here, we've got some edible pumpkins. These are like some little sugar baby pumpkins that are more for making pies and have really good flesh. So I cannot wait for these to grow. If you notice, compared to the other plants, look how far they're spaced out. And this is actually even pretty close. They're about 8 to 10 feet on center, because these ones are gonna get big, long vines. They need a lot of space. So whenever you grow pumpkins, realize they need a lot of space. Of course, more and more peppers. We've got New Mex lemon spice that we got from seeds from our good friends at Botanical Interest, and that's a little jalapeno. It has a more of a unique flavor to it. That's the New Mex lemon spice. All right, so that's it for our peppers in this bed. We're also growing a lot of cucumbers. Now, cucumbers are a great plant. They need a lot of space, just like the pumpkins. You can grow them vertically, so if you had a trellis or a wall or a fence, you can grow them along that, and it's a wonderful way to harvest them. I didn't get around to doing that this year. Maybe next year we'll get on that. But for us, it's a fantastic way to grow. I'm gonna cut off an immature little one right here to show you. So these are Armenian longs. They're really long, but what's great is I would probably wait when they get a little bit fatter, but the trick to harvesting your cucumbers, your squash, zucchini is timing, right? So everybody wants to go, oh, look how big the squash I grew. But when they get that large, they're fully developed. So the seeds in there are mature, they're big. The flesh is now kind of spongy, flavorless, pithy, kind of dry, not as firm. And it's not really what you want. And cucumbers are the same way. If you get to them when they're a little earlier, the flavor is really good, the texture is really good. You'll notice that the seeds aren't fully developed, and the texture of the actual fruit is gonna be a little crisper, a little more moist, and a little more enjoyable. Now this is probably on the opposite end. This is a little too early, still delicious, but it's worth waiting a little longer. Patience, my friends, patience. That's the gardener's way. Now, this is probably the staple of every summer garden is gonna be your tomato garden. And so out here in our orchard, we have about 24 different varieties of tomato, ranging from heirlooms to hybrids to new age hybrids from Wild Boar Farms. We got a little bit of it all. You can see a wall here of tomatoes. These are the rainbow. They're big heirlooms, super delicious. They're red and yellow and orange all mixed together. On the back side of this wall, we've got more peppers. We've got eggplant as well, the Japanese longs, the traditional black beauties, which are awesome. I'll show you. And the trick to harvesting a good eggplant, my friends, is right here in my hands. And maybe you have one in your hands too. And that's a good pair of pruners. The peppers, when we pull them off, you can see right here, really easy. Here's some padron peppers. I love these. These are the ones where it's like a little gamble. 1 in 10 are spicy. The rest are pretty sweet, and they're good. So these ones, like most of our peppers, you can just pull them off with a gentle little tug. Makes harvesting really easy. Now, these ones are mainly sweet, but if you're harvesting your jalapenos, your serranos, your Trinidad scorpions, those are very spicy. So harvest those with gloves. Be careful not to touch your eyes or your face because they're gonna hurt. Wash your hands afterwards. If you're gonna be reaching into a lot of plants, don't do like I'm doing and go sleeveless in a t-shirt. Wear a long sleeve, loose fitting shirt, especially when you're harvesting around things that are spicy or things that are pokey, like your squash and zucchini. Now, and if you've harvested them before, you probably already know what I'm talking about. They have these little prickers on their stems, and they don't feel great. So long sleeves is a great way to harvest. Back to our eggplant, friends. So with eggplant, they're different than the peppers. They're not as easy. They have a much more fibrous stem on them. So really, if I pull them off the same way, they'll damage the branch. And I don't want to do damage to the existing plant here. I want to leave those branches intact, so I just do a nice little clip, and that one's good to go. We'll bring it inside, we'll clean it up, and store that one for later. Same thing compared to your cucumbers and the squash, zucchini. I like harvesting my eggplant when they're a little bit immature, when they're a bit smaller than they can fully get. The flavor's better, the texture seems to be a little more delicate and sweet, and then the seeds aren't fully developed. All right, garden friends, well, that wraps up today's video. I want to thank you for being here. It was so wonderful to have you and to get to show off my harvest and my garden to you. It's a beautiful time of year, even though it's hot. It's wonderful out in the garden because it's producing so much wonderful fruit. I hope your garden is producing just like ours. I'd love to hear about what everyone's growing. But you know what? I got to get some work done. I know it's hot, but I got to get back out in this garden and get some more harvesting. There's some more tomatoes out there calling my name. So until next time, garden friends, happy gardening to you all, and please never, ever stop growing. We'll see you next time.